Welcome back, everybody. This isn't typically how I begin one of my backpacking videos. However, on this trip there was a series of unfortunate events that took place which caused it to not turn out how I had hoped or expected. Now, there's not a lot of grand epic views, not very much B-roll, and quite frankly, it's just a lot of me sharing my thoughts and feelings to the camera about what I was experiencing and enduring during this challenge hike. I hope you enjoy the video. All alone. Welcome back, everybody. I am down here in Big South Fork Recreation Area once again. I was here in March or April of 2018 with Josh Ebersol, and I'm down here for a different reason this time. I'm on the Sheltowee Trail and starting at the southern terminus here at the Burnt Mill Bridge parking area, which is mile 323, I believe, on the Sheltowee Trail. So it's Sunday afternoon, about noon, and I have all day today, all day Monday, Tuesday, and half a day Wednesday to go as far as I possibly can. I'm shooting for 80 to 100 miles. It's gonna be a hot one, so I'm a little worried about the amount of hours that I can hike. Hydration is gonna be an issue. I have plenty of electrolytes with me, and a majority of the time I'm going to be near water sources, I believe, so hoping that hydration won't be too big of an issue. Just getting started. It's already 82 degrees. The weeds are bad, the bugs are bad, so I got a lot of things stacked against me right now, but I'm going for it. I'm ready for another challenge. I can't wait to see how many miles I can crank out in these next 3.5 days. Let's get moving. That's a pretty sound. Hopefully I get to camp next to something like that. Not the pretty blue color I remember, but still pretty. The ultimate goal is to get to Cumberland Falls State Park. It's about 100 miles. I doubt if it's possible with the heat we're having right now, but I'm gonna go for it. It's a huge challenge for me. It's big, big days. We're talking 30 to 35 mile days on Monday and Tuesday. So if I can endure the heat and stay hydrated, I'm going for it. That's where my wife is going to pick me up, unless I can't make it there. I'll have to text her through my Garmin InReach Mini that I just purchased. Thank you for the recommendation, Dan Becker. But that's gonna come in very helpful down here because there's a very poor signal most of the way from what I remember last time. All right, I'm sweating like a mad dog already. Oh my goodness. What am I getting myself into? I hear some water flowing. I believe that is where that crystal clear blue pool of water was with a little waterfall that me and Josh visited last year. Oh man, does it feel nice down here. This is one of my favorite spots in the Honey Creek Loop. I'm gonna be on it for another mile or two probably, and then we'll be getting off of it and back on the Sheltowee Trace. But isn't this awesome? I mean, you talk about a cool, refreshing reprieve from the heat right there. Dark and cool and shaded and wet. Love it here. Alrighty, back on the trail. Now I remember why I once said I am done backpacking during July and August. Holy mackerel. The bugs are horrific, and they're not really mosquitoes. They're like some kind of gnats or something. They're just swarming me constantly. And I'm walking through web after web, and I hate spiders. It's driving me crazy. Oh my gosh, stupid spider webs. about a half mile down to the South Fork of the Cumberland River at Leatherford Ford. So I think I'm gonna take a little break there and eat a little lunch or a late afternoon snack before heading out and finishing the final leg of my journey today. Time for a little pre-dinner snack. Peanut butter and jelly. Right here beside this amazing river. It's hot, but it's very refreshing here. Crossing the big South Fork River right now. I think that was the original bridge crossing right there. I'm pretty sure I could have got across that. I should have just went that way. But they reroute you across this bridge here. I think we join back up the trail right up ahead here. Brand new bridge. Well, part of it. Well, I've been climbing for a long time. And I thought I was almost to the top, and I might be, but I looked up. Here taking a break and I looked up and look what I'm standing beside. I didn't even know it. That thing is like 100 feet above me. Holy crap. Would you look at that? Wow. I feel like I'm at Red River Gorge. Beautiful. And there's the river right down there. Well, I have found camp for tonight. I'm beat. I thought about going a few more miles to Bandy Creek Campground, but I'm about almost 4 miles away from it, and I just don't think I'm gonna be able to make it before dark. So I came up on this little beauty right here, right along a creek. That's what I was worried about. I was trying to make it to Bandy Creek because I didn't think I was gonna have water anywhere until there. But this is going to be awesome to wash up in. Let's get the hammock set up. All right, well, I'm going to go get washed up in this creek and hit the sack. I am beat. I'm hoping to get a good night's sleep tonight because tomorrow I'm going for my new personal best, which is around 25 miles. I'm going to shatter it. As long as everything goes well and I get a good night's sleep, I'm going for 30 to 35. And if time allows and I feel good, I'm going for 40. So I will see you guys in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It's 6 a.m. It is very dark still. But I'm going to get packed up and try to get on the trail by 6:30, 6:45. I got my coffee going right now. I feel good. I'm ready to put in a huge day of hiking. Today is supposed to be another hot one. Mid to upper 80s. But hopefully we'll be in the shade the whole time and I can get these miles cranked out. Very pretty. I've been walking through the green tunnel for the last mile and then came up on this, and at least there's no spider webs in here. I've been going through my fair share of those this morning. These darn horse trails, it's like walking on the beach. Deep fluffy sand. Well, the morning started off good, and then when I got about 5 miles in, I made it to the Bandy Creek Campground and Visitor Center. I was able to get in early and get some sticker bars because you won't believe this. I miscalculated my food by half a day. I don't know what I was thinking. I packed food for 3 days and a bag of extras. Fortunately, the extras will last me part of my 4th day, but I didn't pack a 4th day. And I'm not getting picked up until almost 3 p.m. So it's basically a full day of hiking on day 4. So I picked up 5 Snicker bars, at the visitor center. I'm hoping that I can spread those out, and that'll help me save some of my extras that I packed and be able to use most of those on day 4. And the heat and humidity is starting to come out again, and the bugs. This is going to be a great day of 30 miles of misery. That's all right. I'm up for the challenge. Another thing I was thinking about is how poorly marked these trails are. Very rarely do I see a Sheltowee Trace turtle sign, plaque, blaze, whatever you want to call it, on the tree. I mean, it has been terrible. I got turned around at the Bandy Creek Visitor Center area and got off the trail. I probably spent almost an hour there getting my Snicker bars and finding a restroom and then find the trailhead. Things have not been going well this last hour, but I believe I'm back on the right trail. My GPS is working pretty good. These flies or bugs, I don't know what they are. They aren't biting me. They aren't as bad as mosquitoes or deer flies or horse flies or shore flies or anything like that. They're like giant gnats and they just swarm. I can't get them away from me. I've tried jogging and that helped a little bit, but I can only jog for so long. At least they aren't biting. But my goodness, they're like a cloud around me the entire time. And they're so bad that they get in my eyes, and I've inhaled them a couple times up my nose. At least they're only out in the heat of the day, but that's a majority of the day. So when I was back at the visitor center, since I was having some problems with my GPS, I bought one of the Nat Geo maps for like $14.95, and I left the darn thing at the water fountain. So fortunately I got my Gaia app working right now. The inReach is not working well. I don't know what's going on with it. I turned it off, turned my Bluetooth off to save battery because I am getting low on battery bank power. So that's going to end up being another issue. We got a bouncy swinging suspension bridge right here. Pretty cool. Taking a little break here at this creek, having some Mediterranean couscous and Spam. Pretty good. And I'm having a little issue with my feet because everything's so wet and humid. I'm starting to develop a little blister on my heel. A little hot spot right there. And I'm trying to prevent it from happening on this side. I got some Luco tape. The darn stuff just will not stick because it's so wet and humid out. No matter how well I dry it with a piece of toilet paper, it just will not stick good. So the rest of my feet are doing great. Just the backs of my heels. And this could be the downfall of finishing this hike. Sweating a lot. I've been wringing sweat out of my shorts. My goodness. It is amazing and extremely large. This is a very pretty section. Ladies and gentlemen, the John Muir Overlook at Big South Fork National Recreation Area. I know I got some smudges on my lens. I just cannot get them off. Everything's too wet and humid. That is pretty spectacular. I'll tell you what, it was a pain getting up here. Well, things certainly haven't gone according to plan today. I've gotten turned around and lost at least 3 times, I think. One of them was probably my fault because I missed the Sheltowee Trace blaze on a post. But the other 2 times were because there is just not enough blazes. The little Sheltowee Trace signs, there are hardly any where they should be when you're making important turns. One time I went a mile out of the way, so that really hurt me. Anyway, got about 6.5 miles, I think, to the divide road. And then a few miles past that to the state border where there's water. So that's what I'm shooting for. It is 5:45, so we're going to be pushing it. Got about 25 miles in. I know I'm good for another 6 or 7. So let's get on the trail and knock out some miles while we still have some sun. Well, good morning everyone. It's about 8:30 and I'm finally packed up and ready to get on the trail. I did not film last night at all, just because I was so tired. I was hiking in the dark for a half hour trying to find a good place to set up camp, and I knew there was a river coming up, and it was about 9 o'clock before I finally got set up, and 9:30 before I crawled in a hammock, and I could not muster any energy to do any filming. So here we are this morning, 8:30. We got about a mile or less to the border of Kentucky. That's what I was going for last night. Actually, what I was going for was a campground about 3 miles away. So that's our next stop. Hopefully I can find a place to charge my cell phone and my battery bank. Battery bank's dead and cell phone is at 30%. So that is top priority. Otherwise my wife will not know where to pick me up tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna have to abandon my 100-mile goal and take a break today for a couple hours to make sure that I have fully charged battery bank and cell phone and can get a signal out with my in-reach to my wife to let her know where to pick me up. I'm officially back on the trail and I got my cell phone turned back on and it's at 14%. So I'm in dire need of some power. As of right now, I'm gonna have to abandon this and hopefully there's a place to charge my batteries at this campground in about 3 miles. Oh, man. I way underestimated the amount of power I would use. The EarthMate app that you use with the InReach really sucks the battery down. So my first day, I ate through a lot of power bank. And yesterday, even though I didn't use the InReach, I bet you I charged my phone 3 times. And one 10 milliamp power bank is just not enough. I should have brought a second one. I feel pretty good, other than some hot spots on my heels. I feel like I could continue on and get a lot of miles in today. But top priority, get to this campground and find an outlet. Or actually, I need a USB because I didn't bring my little plug adapter. So man, I got a lot of things stacked against me today. Wow. Something else I failed to mention, last night, you know, I was starving when I got into camp. I knew I needed to eat, but I just did not have the energy to cook in the dark. I just wanted to lay down and go to sleep. So after laying there for a half hour with my stomach growling, I decided to mix up a Packet Gourmet mango kale smoothie just to get something in my stomach that was easy and quick to make. So I did that, but I didn't feel very good. I almost felt queasy and sick to my stomach for a while, and it's probably because I was slightly dehydrated and extra hungry, probably needed electrolytes. I just way overdid it on my last, I'd say 3 miles. I was pushing hard in the dark, trying to get down to this river because I was sweaty and I wanted to clean up in the river before I went to bed. So man, it was great to finally see that river. And we're almost to a trailhead, I believe. I'm almost kind of hoping there's someone parked there, but highly unlikely on a Tuesday morning. I lost my Luco tape. I had a nice big roll of it wrapped around an old piece of toothbrush handle, and yesterday about midway through the day I was putting some on my hot spots on my heels, and I must have left it there because it is nowhere to be found. So I was really bummed about that. That instantly took the wind out of my sails when I could not find that Luco tape. So right now I just have band-aids on the back of my heel. I'm hoping that will help me get through this day. Oh, and by the way, yesterday's total, 34 miles. My new personal best. And those last 8 were rough. I did not think they would ever end. It seems like after mile 25, each mile seems like 2. My goodness. Well, I have decided to call the hike. I can't take another spider web. Today, oh my gosh, the bugs are terrible too. Between the bugs and the spider webs, I just can't, I'm going insane. And on top of that, like I said earlier, my batteries are pretty much dead. Luckily, these nice guys working at the campground let me plug my phone in for about an hour in their truck. So I got about a half charge on my phone and about a 10th or 15th charge on my power bank. So I think that'll get me through tonight. I went ahead and turned my phone off to conserve the energy. And I'll turn it back on tomorrow morning. And my wife's picking me up early afternoon on her way home from Atlanta. So, oh my gosh. The most valuable piece of equipment on this hike, believe it or not, was my little 3-inch handheld mirror. I talked about it as in the luxury challenge tag video about how it was one of my luxury items, but I'm telling you what, it is more than a luxury item on this trip. It saved my eyes at least a dozen times. These gnats or fruit flies, whatever they are, just flew right into my eye over a dozen times. And I would not have been able to get them out without that hand mirror. So that thing proved to be invaluable. All right, I'm on a little gravel road walking down to Deer Loop, part of the Great Meadow Campground. Right now I am set up in Raccoon Loop. So let's go check out Deer Loop and see if it's any better. And then I'm setting up camp and chilling the rest of the day and night. Man, Deer Loop's pretty nice. I think I'm gonna go get my gear and come down here. I'm really liking this site right here. It's got some good hanging trees behind the picnic tables there. Awesome. Here's a look at the rest of the campground. It's a little bigger. Just one big loop. The other main reason that I've decided to call it quits on the challenge hike are the backs of my heels. My toes and feet are good all the way around except the backs of my heel. And I don't really understand why, because these shoes have a great heel cup. They really hug my feet well. I've never had an issue in the past. I think it's because I was sweating so much. You know, that salty sweat in my socks rubbing up and down on my heels all day. I guess just wore some raw spots. Not really any blisters, just some really tender red sore spots. So that's the main reason. And of course the bugs and spider webs. Whoa, we got some serious sunlight coming out. All right, let's go back and get the gear and make our way to Deer Loop. This campground is about 5 miles, give or take, just into Kentucky on the Sheltowee Trail right on Rock Creek, I think is the name of it. So, beautiful little campground. Great place to stop and take a break if you're needing to get away from stealth camping along the trail. But it feels good to be done. I'm upset that I didn't finish. I really wanted to get to Cumberland Falls State Park and do about 100 miles. But it just was not in the cards for me this time, which is fine. There's always next time. Well, I'm all settled in here. Everything's set up. Got some things drying here. And I'm getting ready to go down to the river across the street here, just 50 yards away, and take a little bath. You know, without having plenty of battery and good feeling feet, I just felt it was unwise. I didn't want to end up in a spot where my wife would never be able to find me. So at least here, I was able to get a GPS signal out to her. Still waiting for a reply. I hope she gets it. Otherwise, she's going to have no idea where to pick me up tomorrow. So that's the variable in this trip right now, is finding out if my wife got my GPS message and can pick me up here tomorrow. So I'm safe, but now I'm just worried about the pickup. So hopefully it all goes well. Stuck in the hammock during another rainstorm. Yippee! The entire afternoon was absolutely beautiful. I was just hanging around, lounging in my hammock, eating at the picnic table. And I heard that there were supposed to be storms around 5, 6 o'clock. It's 5:45, so they're right on time. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse, because I don't like the way I have my tarp pitched, and my under quilt is getting a little bit wet, and everything under my hammock is getting wet, because I'm in a little gully where all the rain runs through. So it's times like these I wish I had the duplex. easier to sprawl out and keep everything dry inside. Here we go again. Staying nice and dry. Some serious thunder and lightning going on out there. Woo! Holy cow. Here comes the big one. Gee. My gosh. Alright, unfortunately I was unable to film a proper ending to this video because my wife unexpectedly showed up to the campgrounds at 7 a.m. and I was still asleep in my hammock. And the last thing I wanted to put them through was filming an outro after they had been driving for 5 hours from Atlanta and on backcountry roads and enduring a downed tree on this gravel road, which they were fortunately able to move out of the way and get to me. So I hopped in the car and off we went back to Ohio. In the end, I just felt it was a wise decision to call it quits on this challenge hike just because I had so many things stacked against me. You know, the hot spots on my heels and not knowing where my Leuco tape was, which I thought I'd lost. The constant spider webs I was running into on the trail. The swarms of gnats. The heat and humidity and the difficulty of keeping hydrated, and of course the lack of power on my cell phone and battery bank that I underestimated. So there's always next time. I am looking forward to tackling this trail again in the future, and actually I have plans to through hike the entire 323 miles this fall, so stay tuned for that. As always guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm Jason Wish, wishing you a great time on your next adventure.